Welcome! Have you ever wondered how cybersecurity pros take the complete chaos of a cyber attack and somehow make sense of it all? Well, it's definitely not magic. It's actually a really powerful way of thinking, a framework designed to bring crystal clear clarity to a very messy situation. And today, we're going to break down that exact framework, the Diamond Model. This quote from Chris Sanders just nails it. A tool like TCP dump lets an analyst see network traffic, sure, just like a telescope lets an astronomer see stars. But astronomy isn't about the telescope, right? It's about understanding the universe. And in the same way, intrusion analysis isn't just about the tools. It's about seeing the bigger picture, understanding the patterns, the motives, and who's really behind the keyboard. It's about seeing the whole constellation, not just staring at a single star. So imagine an attack just happened. For an analyst, it's like a storm hits. You're just slammed with this flood of questions. Who did this? How on earth did they get in? What are they after? It's just a mountain of data, alerts, and tiny little clues. It's so easy to get completely lost in all that noise. But what if there was a way to bring order to that chaos? A structured method to actually answer all of those questions, one by one. A kind of roadmap to turn that messy pile of data into something you can actually use. Well, that's exactly what the Diamond Model is. It's this elegant but incredibly powerful tool that was actually designed by analysts for analysts. It takes that confusing storm of information and gives it a shape, a clear, repeatable structure. Honestly, you can think of it as the master blueprint for investigating pretty much any cyber attack out there. The whole thing starts with this one core idea, the event. See, an attack isn't just one big thing that happens. No, it's a chain of smaller steps. An attacker sending a phishing email, that's one event. You clicking the link inside it, that's another event. The malware installing itself on your machine, yep, that's a third event. Each little step is a single, atomic piece of the puzzle we can analyze. And here's where the diamond comes in. Every single one of these events has 4 key features. These are the 4 points of our diamond. You can think of them like the fundamental questions a detective would ask when they show up at a crime scene. First up, the adversary. This is the who. Simple enough, right? It could be a lone hacker in their basement, a big organized crime group, or even a sophisticated team sponsored by a nation-state. This is the person or group driving the whole attack. Second, you have the victim. This is who the adversary is going after. And a victim isn't always a huge company. It can get really specific. A particular person, a single email address, a web server, or any asset the attacker wants to get their hands on. Third point of the diamond is capability. This is the how, the tools and techniques the adversary brought to the fight. This could be anything from a super simple password guessing script all the way to some crazy advanced, custom-built malware nobody's ever seen before. It's their weapon of choice. And fourth, we have infrastructure. This is the where. It's all the command and control servers, the malicious websites, the IP addresses, the whole network the adversary uses to launch their attack. Think of these as their digital hideouts and getaway routes. Okay, so we have our 4 points: adversary, victim, capability, and infrastructure. But the real magic of the Diamond Model isn't just about slapping labels on things, no. Its true power comes from using these points to connect the dots and uncover the rest of the story. And the way we do that is through something called analytic pivoting. It's a fancy term for a simple idea. You take one piece of evidence you know for sure, one point on that diamond, and you use it to find the next piece of the puzzle. It's the engine that drives the entire investigation forward. And this is really where it all comes together. Let's say an investigation kicks off with just one clue. A victim finds a strange piece of malware. So we start with the capability. By analyzing that malware, an analyst can pivot. They can find the infrastructure it's talking to, like a command and control domain name. Then they can pivot again from that domain to find other victims that are also communicating with it. And from those victims, they might find clues that point directly to the adversary. It's like a chain reaction. One single clue can literally unravel the entire operation. Now, this pivoting is amazing for dissecting a single event. But what happens when we zoom out? Because, let's be real, adversaries are persistent. They don't just do one thing and go home. They run entire campaigns. A single diamond gives us a perfect snapshot of one moment in time. But if you really want to understand your enemy, you have to connect those snapshots. You have to see the full motion picture of how they operate. So how do we build that movie? Well, you start with one event, one diamond. Then you find another related event, and you link them. When you connect a whole series of these events, you create what's called an activity thread. And this thread isn't just a list of attacks, it's a story. It's the adversary's entire operational playbook laid out for you to see. A real-world activity thread can look pretty complex, something like this. You can literally trace how an attacker moves from their initial research to delivering the attack to exploiting their target, often hopping between multiple victims over a long period. This is how analysts go from looking at isolated incidents to gaining this incredibly deep understanding of a long-term threat. So why does all this matter? Why is thinking this way so important? What's the actual real-world impact? Because it completely changes the game for defenders. Without a model like this, security is often just about reacting to the activity. You block an IP address here, you clean up a virus there. It's a never-ending game of whack-a-mole. But with the Diamond model, the focus shifts to countering the adversary. You're no longer just stopping one attack, you're figuring out how to understand and disrupt their entire operation. So the takeaways here are pretty huge. The Diamond model turns messy tactical data into high-level strategic intelligence. It creates a shared language so all analysts can talk about threats in the same way. By mapping out an adversary's playbook, it actually helps you predict what they might do next. And maybe most importantly, it lets defenders get ahead of the game and disrupt entire malicious campaigns, not just clean up after them. And that leaves us with one last pretty powerful thought. This whole process isn't just about looking backwards at what already happened. It's about building a model of your adversary that is so complete, so detailed, that you can start to anticipate what's coming. So if you can map out every move an adversary has ever made, can you start to predict their future ones? That's the ultimate goal, and the Diamond model is a huge step in getting us there.